Fine, guys, let's start. Earlier, just as you know, we had completed 10 days Destroy Prelims Workshop, and today we are starting with the Predicted Prelims Workshop. Again, this will be a 10 days workshop, similar to the first session of Destroy Prelims Workshop, which was more of a warm-up session, get to know kind of session. This will also be more of a warm-up session. Today, relatively, our speed will be less, and today's session will be relatively smaller. But from tomorrow, we'll try to increase our speed and cover more content. Okay? On a daily basis. So let's quickly begin. Here in this session, interactiveness will be relatively less compared to our previous session. It will be interactive, undoubtedly, but because this is a content-heavy workshop, Predicted Prelims is a content-heavy workshop. Destroy Prelims was a logic-heavy workshop. So interactiveness was more. Here it will be there, but relatively to a lesser degree. Fine. As we move on, you will get more clarity. Satyendra, as I can see you on the screen, other guys, please keep your cameras on. So before explaining or speaking on anything, I want you to just read what you can see on your screen, Satyendra.
With reference to furnace oil, consider the following statement. It is a product of oil refineries. Some industry use it to generate power. It use cause sulfur emission into the environment.
Okay. Fine. So this was a 2021 prelims question that Satyendra just read. Satyendra, there are two reference examples here. Can you read them? Okay, read from here, Satyendra. Read from here.
Consider the following statement. Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board is first regulatory body set up in the Government of India. One of the tasks of PNGRB is to ensure competitive market for gas. Appeals against the decision of PNGRB go before the appellate tribunal for electricity.
Fine. So there are four options. There is one more reference example. Now these all are from PYQs. See, nothing over here is out of PYQ. Read it, Satyendra.
In India, what is the role of the Coal Control Organization? CCO is the major source of coal statistics in Government of India. It monitors progress of development of captive coal or lignite block. It hears any objection to the government's notification relating to acquisition of coal bearing areas. It ensures that the coal mining companies deliver the coal to end users in the prescribed time.
Fine. Very good, Satyendra. So guys, we started with this 2021 prelims question as our main hook. And we read this question. This was on furnace oil. And before we go to the anchor, we saw two references. One was on PNGRB, Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board, and this was from 2019. Other reference example that we saw was on Coal Controllers Organization, CCO. Before we move ahead, my question to you is, among you guys, कितनों को पक्का पता है कोल कंट्रोलर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में, या फिर ये जो दूसरी बॉडी है PNGRB के बारे में?
नहीं पता
सर.
नहीं पता सर.
No idea sir.
Fine. So here the anchor. These are all asked in UPSC, right? This is not something we're speaking in the air. UPSC ने पूछा है. So the PYQ anchor at level 4, which we also call as the Sherlock level anchor, is UPSC has the knack to ask regulatory mechanisms of with respect to important fuels. Say for example, ये जो पिछला क्वेश्चन हमने देखा, this was respect to PNGRB, Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board, from 2019. The other example that we saw was from 2022, Coal Controllers Organization. So regulation of some sort is being done, either with respect to coal or petroleum or natural gas. Now, the hook for us is this question with reference to furnace oil. So what is the regulatory mechanism in place when it comes to these other derivatives that come out of petroleum fractional distillation के बाद जो products निकलते हैं? So let me read it out for you. Regulation and control of furnace oil and other petroleum products are overseen by the Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization (PESO), which operates under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It functions under Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and the organization is a member of several international organizations, including the United Nations Economic and Social Council (ECOSOC) and the International Atomic Energy Agency. Now, these are the bare minimum aspects we should be knowing about PESO based on the level 4 anchor. UPSC has been asking a regulatory mechanisms for or with respect to fuels, be it coal, natural gas, or other things. Because UPSC has asked a question specifically on furnace oils, so we will be probing this level 4 anchor ahead and will be prepared for this. Now, before we move ahead with the level 3 anchor, my suggestion to you would be this is not something sacrosanct. मतलब ये सब जो लिखा है ये पत्थर की लकीर नहीं है. When I am done with the discussion, when we are done with the discussion of a PYQ, if you think you have an input that needs to be part of the discussion, you are most welcome to provide your input. I would never say that I have monopoly over Gyan or monopoly over PYQ analysis. Okay? When I am done, you can give your inputs. Okay? Okay. Moving ahead. Avinash, level 3 वाला analysis पढ़ लो please.
What
PYQ
are the
level 3.
What are the other products of oil refineries? Refining process. The refining process typically includes several stages such as distillation, cracking, reforming, isomerization, and treating. In the distillation process, crude oil is heated and separated into different fractions based on their boiling point.
Okay, just a moment, Avinash. See, यहाँ पर you must have observed one thing. कि whatever keywords, terms, phrases are important, I have already highlighted those.
Yes.
मतलब अगर कोई point, कोई sentence बड़ा भी दिख रहा है तो उससे घबराना नहीं है. That is for context. Context समझ में आने के लिए है. Otherwise जो important point है उसको already highlight किया हुआ है. Right? Okay.
Yes.
अगला point, Avinash.
As the crude oil is heated and enter the fractionation column, it's being to vaporize. The vaporized oil rises through a column and encounters cooler temperatures. At the higher elevation, the heaviest fraction, such as residual fuel oil, collected at the bottom of the column, while the lightest fraction, such as gasoline and natural gas, collected at the top. This allows for the separation of the crude oil into a wide range of products, including gasoline, diesel fuel, jet fuel, heating oil, lubricant, and petrochemicals.
Okay. आगे. हाँ.
Asphalt, the heaviest fraction obtained from the crude oil distillation is asphalt. It is used to mark road, roofing materials, and other construction products. Petroleum barricades are the type of.
It is okay. Fine, Avinash. Used to make roads, roofing materials, and other construction products. Petroleum briquettes. Now, they are a type of fuel briquettes that is made by compressing. Fine. We after deriving those products, we compress it, and it is a mixture of petroleum-based fuels and binders into a block or briquette shape. Now, this was also in use, so we have incorporated this essentially because it is cost-effective but heavily polluting on the environment. Fine. Moving ahead, level 4 हमने देखा, level 4 anchor, level 3 anchor देखा. Let's come down to level 1. Reverse engineering कर रहे हैं हम.
Sir, can you quickly tell us ये anchor और level 1 to 3 क्या है sir?
एक बार ये हो जाने दो question. We'll come back to it. निमिष तुम ही शुरू करो. Level 1 anchor पढ़ो.
Basics of furnace oil. Furnace oil is a type of heavy fuel oil that is commonly used as a source of fuel for industrial and commercial applications. Furnace oil is typically used as a fuel in industrial boilers, furnaces, and power plants. It has a high energy content and is relatively inexpensive compared to other types of fuel. However, it is also a major source of air pollution. Pros we said.
High sulfur content. Fine. Okay. What are the pros? high energy content. Furnace oil has a high energy content, which makes it cost effective fuel for industrial and commercial applications. Wide availability. Furnace oil is widely available as it is produced from crude oil, which is globally traded commodity. Reliable and consistent. Furnace oil is a reliable and consistent fuel source as it is produced and distributed through established supply chains. Suitable for high temperature applications. Furnace oil is suitable for use in high temperature applications such as industrial boilers and furnaces, where other types of fuels may not be effective. See, this is all for context setting. जो highlight किया हुआ section है, that is what you should know, bare minimum. Fine. समझने के लिए कि ये क्या है, context भी दिया हुआ है. Fine. Okay. Very quickly, Aniket, cons पढ़ो please.
Environmental impact. Furnace oil is a major source of air pollution as it contains high level of sulfur and other pollutants.
Go on. Yeah, go on please.
Price volatility. The price of furnace oil is subject to volatility as it is linked to global crude oil prices. Safety concerns. Furnace oil is a flammable and potentially hazardous substance which requires careful handling and storage to avoid accidents or spills.
Fine guys. Now, जैसे निमिष ने पूछा, निमिष asked कि sir what is this level 1 anchor, level 2 anchor, level 3 anchor, level 4 anchor. Fine. See, this I have been speaking to many of my YouTube videos. Here, let me simplify it even further. Level 1 anchor क्या होता है? Our basic understanding after analyzing many past year papers, many past year questions is that UPSC uses anchors to frame new questions. अब level 1 anchor का अगर मैं आपको example दूं, how it has worked in previous years. See, there was a question on polyethylene terephthalate, ठीक है, in 2022. But before that, there was another question which had polyethylene terephthalate as an option. So directly उस option को recycle करके question बना दिया UPSC ने. So that is level 1 anchoring. Level 1 basic level पर option उठाया और उसको लेकर क्वेश्चन बना दिया. तो our duty is to at least know basics about polyethylene terephthalate, PET क्या होता है, because using level 1 anchor, UPSC is likely to frame a question next year. That is level 1. Level 2 anchor क्या होता है? We move a step ahead where we also take into consideration the context of the question. Say for example, UPSC had asked in 2020, in 2021, which of the following organisms form symbiotic relationships? So the options were fungi, cnidarians, and so on. There were 3-4 options. In the next year, there was a direct question on symbiotic relationship, which said which of the following are called as biggest cultivators of fungi. The answer was ant. So last year, the context was symbiotic relationship of fungi with other creatures. The context was quite clear. So that is level 2 anchor. The next year, UPSC framed a question in 2022 using that anchor, level 2 anchor. Context setting of the question was quite clear. Level 3 anchor, we move a step ahead. We have the given keywords, we have the given terms, we have those given names. We probe it further, like has it been prominently into news, or are there any other ways or point of views through which we should be looking at that particular question. And at the end, level 4, there is no clear hint, there is no direct hint. Let's take example of this very question. In the beginning, as we saw, this particular question, I asked you guys about these two questions. This question that was asked in 2019 PNGRB. You said you don't know about this organization. Similarly, I asked you guys about this particular organization, CCO, Coal Controllers Organization. You guys say you don't know about this question. Again, this has been asked in 2022. So anchor 4, which we also call the Sherlock level anchor. Why we call it so? Because there is no direct hint, but there is a connecting thread. There is a connecting thread, and in this case, the connecting thread is regulatory bodies, regulatory authorities, regulatory mechanisms with respect to fuels is being asked that are relatively less known to the students. So that is level 4 anchoring. Level 1 anchor, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Are you clear, Nimish? Others?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन हमने अभी डिस्कस किया है सो फार सत्येंद्र,
Yes, sir.
Gauri, what are your inputs so far before we move ahead?
Sir.
Yes.
Any inputs from you before we move ahead?
No,
So
sir.
for me, no, sir.
सत्येंद्र, others?
No, sir.
It's looking quite interesting, sir.
कौन बोल रही है?
Navneet.
नवनीत को इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है. See,
Sir,
it is interesting, but more than interesting, it is
Sir,
more educative.
रंजीत
Yes, Ranjit.
सर, इसमें तो सर ऐसा भी अगर कनेक्टिंग थ्रेड देखे तो सर रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी का सोर्सेस पे भी तो रेगुलेटरी बोर्ड कौन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी जैसे उस पे कौन रेगुलेटरी बोर्ड है उस पे भी
Yes,
सवाल
yes,
पूछ
yes.
सकते
जैसे मैंने शुरुआत में
जी,
कहा, you are most welcome to give inputs. Fine.
जी सर जी
यहाँ पर what we felt more or most
यस
germane
सर जी
was
जी
with respect to fossil fuels. Regulation
जी।
of fossil fuels felt most germane to us, तो हमने वो
जी।
incorporate किया, right?
जी सर जी
Can't endlessly go on analyzing
यस सर यस
anchoring one particular question, right? लेकिन अगर आपको
जी।
लगता है कि कोई पर्टिकुलर बॉडी है रिन्यूएबल सेक्टर से,
यस सर
प्लीज टैग मी इन द टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. आपको टैग करना पड़ेगा. आप टैग नहीं करोगे तो वो क्वेश्चन फिर छूट जाएगा मुझसे. टैग मी,
यस सर
एंड इफ दैट इज रिलेवेंट वी विल इनकॉर्पोरेट इट इन नेक्स्ट सेशंस. ठीक है? एंड दिस अप्लाइज टू ऑल. अगर आपको लगता है कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोजेक्शन है, इनपुट है आपकी तरफ से, टैग मी इन द ग्रुप. ठीक है? विल इनकॉर्पोरेट इट. आई विल रिसर्च इट फ्रॉम माय साइड. फाइन? यू जस्ट नीड टू टैग मी. Clear everyone?
यस सर क्लियर.
Who is this? Some girl was speaking.
Lakshmi.
Yes, Srilakshmi.
सर पीसो के बारे में इतना ही जानना है क्या मैं और कुछ जानना है?
और बहुत कुछ जान सकते हैं हम पैसों के बारे में, लेकिन आई डोंट थिंक दैट वुड बी रिलेवेंट फ्रॉम एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. उसका एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्ट्रक्चर हमने देखा. फाइन. दूसरा, अगर हमको कुछ जानना होता तो लॉज, like it derives powers under which laws, but that is very random. The laws which are mentioned, like you don't read those generally. Fine. When you prepare for the civil services exam, और अगर वो law आ भी जाते हैं एग्जाम में, you will be able to use the unheard technique. So I didn't incorporate those. I don't want to elongate and stretch analysis endlessly. Fine. अगर चाहिए तो हम वो incorporate कर भी सकते हैं, but those are random laws. Random है. Explosives Act, say for example, हम नहीं पढ़ते हैं सब, राइट? ठीक है? अगर इसके अलावा भी पैसों के बारे में आपको लगता है कि देयर इज समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू नो, टैग मी. ठीक है? आई विल इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट. ठीक है श्रीलक्ष्मी? अदर्स?
ओके सर.
फाइन. लेट्स क्विकली मूव अहेड. लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ यू ओनली, श्रीलक्ष्मी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. या श्रीलक्ष्मी.
Which one of the following is used in preparing a natural mosquito repellent? Congress grass, elephant grass, lemon grass, nut grass.
Okay. Now, there are two reference examples. I'll just read the first one. In 2017, there was this question asked by UPSC. Now, this was on the cause. The question was, consider the following statement. In tropical regions, Zika virus disease is transmitted by the same mosquito that transmits dengue. Sexual transmission of Zika virus disease is possible. Now, see, this was asked at that point of time because this particular virus was too much into news at that point of time. But the connecting thread over here is, earlier a question was asked on the causative factor. Fine. The way it causes disease, this particular disease, Zika virus, and here solution. How do we treat it, or how do we get rid of it, or what are the remedial measures? So that's the connecting thread. Because UPSC has asked about a natural mosquito repellent. Which among these is a natural mosquito repellent? We know, or we have learned from PYQ analysis, that UPSC has the knack to ask technical details about items of everyday use. So PYQ anchor level 4 or Sherlock level anchor used by UPSC. Fine. Again, as I have said, UPSC has the knack to ask technical details about items of everyday use. Here, Srilakshmi, please read this one.
DEET, diethyl metatoluamide. This is one of the most widely used mosquito repellents. It works by confusing the mosquito's sense of smell, making it difficult for the insect to locate its human prey.
Okay, now before we move ahead, now हमने कहा कि UPSC has a knack to ask technical details about items of everyday use. एक example को लेके समझते हैं. Just this was from 2021. Read this, Srilakshmi.
Triclosan, considered harmful when exposed to high levels for a long time, is most likely present in which of the following? Food preservatives, fruit ripening substances, reused plastic containers, toiletries.
Clear है? Level 4 anchor. How UPSC is asking us questions about everyday items, but those questions are technical in nature. Triclosan, fine? Okay. So coming back to this, here using level 4 Sherlock level anchor used by UPSC, DEET. This is most commonly used, the mosquito liquid that we use in homes. It contains this DEET. Fine. Moving ahead, Srilakshmi, level 3 anchor.
Natural mosquito repellents. Citronella oil. Citronella oil is a natural mosquito repellent that is commonly used in candles, torches, and other outdoor products. Lemon eucalyptus oil. Lemon eucalyptus oil contains a natural compound called PMD, paramethane diol, that has been shown to be effective mosquito repellent. Lavender oil. It has a calming scent and can also act as a mosquito repellent. Peppermint oil. Peppermint oil has a strong scent that mosquitoes don't like, making it an effective natural repellent. Neem oil is a natural insecticide that can repel mosquitoes and other insects.
Yeah, so at level 3, other natural mosquito repellents. UPSC has asked about one. Lemongrass, what could be the other natural mosquito repellents? Continue, Srilakshmi.
Soybean oil. Soybean oil has been shown to be effective mosquito repellent and is also an environmental friendly alternative to synthetic repellents. Garlic. Eating garlic can help repel mosquitoes as the odor is released through the skin and acts as a natural repellent. Artificial mosquito repellent.
Fine. So far, Srilakshmi has read under the head of level 3 anchor, because UPSC has asked about one natural mosquito repellent. What could be the other natural mosquito repellents which we need to know about? Fine. Now we have read about natural ones. Let's read about artificial mosquito repellents. Yes, Srilakshmi. See, DET. Now this is common. You have already read this above. Start from picaridin.
Picaridin. This chemical is similar to DEET in terms of its mode of action, but it is less likely to cause skin irritation. IR 3535. This chemical works by masking the scent of carbon dioxide and lactic acid, which are two chemicals that humans emit and that attract mosquitoes. Permethrin. This is a synthetic chemical that is often used to treat clothing and gear rather than applied directly to the skin. It works by paralyzing and killing the mosquito on contact. Oil by lemon eucalyptus. This is a natural plant-based repellent that is derived from the leaves of the lemon eucalyptus tree. It works by disrupting the mosquito's sense of smell.
Thank you, Srilakshmi. So as Srilakshmi has read quite quickly, so these were the few natural mosquito repellents that we just heard: citronella oil, lemon eucalyptus oil, lavender oil, peppermint oil, neem oil, soybean oil, garlic. Now, one thing I have highlighted here, that the odor is released through the skin. Now, this is just for our information. When we eat garlic, the odor is released from the skin, which repels the mosquitoes. DET we have just learned. Picaridin, less likely to cause irritation. Now IR 3535, इसको mnemonic जैसे बनाना है बना लो. International relation 3535 जो सही लगता है, ठीक है. Because we are likely to forget. These things. इनको बार बार देखने से ही, रटने से ही ये चीजें याद रहेंगी. Now see what is important here. IR 3535 और IR 3535 के context में, it works by masking the scent of carbon dioxide and lactic acid. Now this is important. Why do mosquitoes come towards us, or why are they attracted towards us? Because of the carbon dioxide and lactic acid, the scent of it that we emit. Okay? So that's an important point to be noted. Permethrin and OLE, oil of lemon eucalyptus. Okay. Very quickly, coming to Gauri. Please read from lemongrass. Now, see, this is basic लेवल 1 यहाँ पर मैंने हेडलाइन नहीं डाली है, बट दिस इज बेसिक लेवल 1 PYQ एंकरिंग लेमन ग्रास दिया है यूपीएससी ने, सो विल ट्राई टू learn basic aspects of lemongrass. Yes, Gauri.
Lemongrass, also known as citrulina grass, is a plant that is commonly used for culinary uses. Lemongrass has citrusy, slightly sweet flavor and is often used to add flavor to soups, curries, and stir fries in many cuisines, especially in Southeast Asia. Tea. Lemongrass tea is a popular herbal tea that is enjoyed for its refreshing taste and soothing properties. Essential oils. Lemongrass essential oil is used in aromatherapy and as a natural insect repellent. It is also used in personal care products like soaps, lotions, and perfumes for its fresh, lemony scent. Medicinal use. Lemongrass is used in traditional medicines to treat a variety of ailments, including stomach problems, fever, and respiratory issues. It is also believed to have antibacterial and antifungal properties. Flavoring in alcohol beverages. Lemongrass is often used to add citrusy flavor to alcohol beverages such as cocktails and beer. Insecticides. Lemongrass has insecticidal properties and is used in some natural insecticides to repel or kill insects. Food preservative. Lemongrass contains citral, a compound that has antimicrobial properties. This makes it useful as a natural food preservative to help extend the shelf life of food product.
Fine. Thanks, Gauri. So here, so far, what have we learned? Basic level 1 PYQ anchor, lemongrass, basic uses, basic information about lemongrass, culinary, tea, essential oil, medicinal uses, flavoring in alcohol beverages. Now, when Gauri was reading about flavoring in alcohol beverages, Avinash का चेहरा कुछ ऐसा लग रहा था, ये जानी पहचानी चीज लग रही है. Then insecticides, food preservatives, इट्स एंटीमाइक्रोबियल प्रॉपर्टीज यहाँ पर हमने पढ़ा है. ऊपर मेडिसिनल यूजेस में एंटीबैक्टीरियल एंड एंटीफंगल प्रॉपर्टीज भी हमने देखी. फाइन. अब इसके नीचे नाउ बिकॉज इट इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक, अब यहाँ पर वी आर गोइंग अगेन टू लेवल 3 एंकर. लेवल 1 पर हम आए, लेवल 3 पर फिर से जा रहे हैं बिकॉज यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस ऑन वेक्टर्स. वेक्टर्स पे पूछा है, ठीक है. मॉस्किटो से जो डिसीजेज होती हैं उस पर क्वेश्चन पूछा है. सो बेयर मिनिमम जो हमको पता होना चाहिए, वी डोंट वांट टू ओवर स्ट्रेच इट, लेकिन बेयर मिनिमम जो पता होना चाहिए हमने यहाँ पर लिखने की कोशिश की है. चंदन, कैन यू रीड इट आउट प्लीज?
कॉमनली से शुरू करें.
हाँ.
Commonly caused by mosquitoes. So malaria is a parasitic infection caused by the Plasmodium parasite and transmitted by the Anopheles mosquito. Dengue fever is a viral infection transmitted by the Aedes mosquito, which causes fever, severe joint and muscle pain, and a rash. Zika virus is a viral infection transmitted by the Aedes mosquito, which can cause fever, rash, and joint pain. Yellow fever is also a viral infection transmitted by the Aedes and Haemococcus mosquitoes, which can cause fever, jaundice, and bleeding. Chikungunya is a viral infection transmitted by Aedes mosquito, which causes fever and severe joint pain. And West Nile virus is a viral infection transmitted by Culex mosquito, which can cause fever, headache, and body ache. Japanese encephalitis is a viral infection transmitted by the Culex mosquito, which can cause inflammation of the brain and spinal cord.
Okay, last one, padlo.
Rift Valley fever is a viral infection transmitted by the Aedes and Culex mosquitoes, which can cause fever, headache, and muscle pain.
Okay, so we have stopped at Rift Valley fever. The list can be unending because there are many more diseases caused by mosquitoes, lekin which seem to be more relevant from UPSC point of view, exam point of view. We have incorporated those. Plus, see, the highlighted sections are important. Species, name of the species, mosquito, name of the disease. Fine. Rest everything is for context setting, understanding the context. Fine. Quickly moving ahead. आगे हम क्या कर रहे हैं? Again, level 3 anchoring. लेमनग्रास पर क्वेश्चन पूछा है यूपीएससी ने, तो लेवल 3 एंकर का यूज करके व्हाट आर द मेजर्स बीइंग टेकन टू कंट्रोल this means coming to you very quickly. Prashun.
So from gene drive,
new technologies to prevent.
New technologies to prevent mosquito-borne disease, genetic modification. This approach includes technologies such as gene editing and gene drive systems. Gene drive systems are a type of genetic engineering technology that can alter the inheritance of genes in sexually reproducing organisms. Mosquito traps. Some traps use carbon dioxide to mimic human breath and lure mosquitoes, while other uses light or heat. Mosquitoes repellent fabrics. Digital tools. Digital tools such as smartphone apps and satellite imagery. Mosquito control use bacteria. Bacterium Wolbachia can reduce the ability of mosquitoes to transmit disease. Congress grass.
Okay, fine. So यहाँ पर न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हमने देखा जेनेटिक मॉडिफिकेशन और जीन एडिटिंग रिलेटिवली हम सबको पता है, जीन ड्राइव भी पता है लेकिन रिलेटिवली कम पता है. जीन ड्राइव क्या होता है? इट अल्टर्स द inheritance of genes in sexually reproducing organisms. Now this is important.
So this is in news also. I had read somewhere while revising the current affairs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So gene drive ये हमने देखा. अगर हमने नहीं पढ़ा है और इस तरह से कुछ ऑप्शन आ जाए मॉस्किटोज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में एंड इट ऑल्टर्स सेक्सुअल रिप्रोड्यूसिंग कैपेबिलिटी, तो हमको कुछ अटपटा सा लगेगा, राइट? बट वी हैव रेड दिस नाउ. मॉस्किटो ट्रैप्स, अगेन जो हमने पहले बात की, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, लैक्टिक एसिड, फैब्रिक्स. नाउ सी डिजिटल टूल्स यहाँ पर इसलिए लिखा है कि इफ अगर क्वेश्चन ऐसे आ जाए कि सैटेलाइट इमेजरी इज यूज्ड टू कंट्रोल मॉस्किटोज, तो हम पहले उसको एलिमिनेट कर देंगे. मच्छर को कंट्रोल करने के लिए हम सैटेलाइट कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं? दैट वुड बी आवर थॉट प्रोसेस, राइट? बट वी आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट स्वॉर्म्स ऑफ मॉस्किटो. जब बहुत सारे मॉस्किटो साथ में हो जाते हैं, दे फॉर्म स्वॉर्म्स, ठीक है, एंड दे कैन बी ट्रैक्ड थ्रू सैटेलाइट इमेजरी. एंड लास्टली एज मेंशन हियर, बैक्टीरियम वॉल्बाचिया, ठीक है, दिस इज used to annihilate, kill mosquitoes. Fine. Now see, again coming back to level 1, the options mentioned in the question, congress grass, nut grass, elephant grass, those were the options. Amod, level 1 par quickly read it please.
Congress grass, Parthenium hysterophorus, is an invasive weed that is native to Americas but has spread to many parts of the world including India, where it is considered a major weed problem. The plant produces toxic compound called parthenin, which can cause skin irritation, respiratory problems, and allergic reaction to humans and animals that come into contact with it. Efforts are underway to control Congress grass through various methods, including manual removal, chemical control, biological control using natural enemies such as insects and fungi.
Okay. So Congress grass के बारे में मेन 3 चीजें जो हमने सीखी, that it is an invasive species, it has a toxic compound called parthenin, and it's been controlled through various means using biological control that involves insects and fungi. ठीक है, ये हमने समझा. Please read further, Amod.
Nutgrass. Cypress rotundus is a perennial plant that is also known as a purple nutsedge or purple nutgrass. It is common weed that is found in many parts of the world including India, where it is considered a major problem in agriculture. The plant is believed to have anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties and used to treat variety of ailments including menstrual cramps, digestive disorders, and respiratory problems.
Yeah.
Elephant grass, also known as Napier grass, is grown in several parts of India. It is particularly popular in southern states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, where it is grown as fodder crop for cattle.
Okay. So with respect to nut grass, we found 2 interesting things. Firstly, it is a common weed similar to the Congress grass, and it's a big problem with respect to agriculture. But also we learned that it is also beneficial medicinally. It has anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties in this context, menstrual cramps, digestive disorders, and so on. And lastly, elephant grass, which is also called Napier grass, and it is grown as a fodder crop. Now this we won't call this as a common weed. Okay, Congress grass is a weed. Similarly, the other grass, nut grass that we saw, is a weed. Elephant grass is grown as fodder. This is level 1. Why did we do this? Let's go back to the question. to get sense of what we did. So this was the question. Which one of the following is the most common? Which one of the following is used in preparing a natural mosquito repellent? And lemongrass was the example. We saw an example for context setting. Then we went for PYQ anchor level 4 used by UPSC while framing many questions. We saw example of triclosan and that is used in toiletries. So we just marked DEET that is used in our daily lives, day-to-day lives. Anchor 4. Then we went to anchor 3. Natural mosquito repellents के बारे में हमने सीखा. Then we went to artificial mosquito repellents again under level 3 anchor. ठीक है, we learned a few names here. Then level 1 पर हम वापस आए. Lemongrass के बारे में हमने सीखा. Then we went back to level 3 commonly caused diseases by mosquitoes and the name of the causative agents. And then again under level 3 new technologies हमने देखी to control mosquito borne diseases or to control mosquitoes. Then again we jumped back to level 1 analysis, that nut grass, elephant grass and congress grass. ठीक है, Amol, you raised hand.
Yes, sir. After every question, we are also looking at reference question asked by UPSC itself. So, is that a necessary prerequisite?
No, this is for your understanding. That is something that makes the activity more interesting for you. If I go on giving you content after content, that's very easy for me. लेकिन वो थोड़ा सा बोरिंग हो जाता है, राइट? See, जब मैंने यहाँ पर आपको कॉन्टेक्स्ट बताया, so for example, in the very beginning, we saw this question, right? Lemongrass. Level 4 anchor क्या था? UPSC has this knack of asking technical details of everyday use items. यहाँ पर हमने 21 का ही एग्जांपल देख लिया, ट्राइक्लोसान का, राइट? Then we went ahead with this particular point DEET के बारे में. So this made more sense to you. अगर मैं आपको ये रेफरेंस एग्जांपल नहीं बताता तो probably ये उतना सेंस नहीं बनाता. DEET, right?
Right.
That is for our understanding purpose. Nothing else. Everyone clear so far? किसी का कोई इनपुट है तो बताओ.
सत्येंद्र सर कितने सालों का करेंगे सर ये ऐसे एनालिसिस?
See, we are doing it selectively कर रहे हैं. आज थोड़ा सा स्पीड कम दिख रहा है, लेकिन डेफिनेटली हमारा स्पीड बढ़ेगा. 5 years के हम कर रहे हैं, 5 years 2018 to 2022. लेकिन रेफरेंस के तौर पर हम 5 साल से पुराने क्वेश्चंस भी लेंगे फॉर रेफरेंस पर्पस. ठीक है, लेकिन मेन जो हमारा एंकरिंग होगा, मेन जो एनालिसिस होगा, दैट वुड बी ऑफ पास्ट 5 year क्वेश्चंस सेलेक्टिवली. ठीक है,
सारे क्वेश्चन करेंगे सर
ना? अभी तो मैंने कहा कि सेलेक्टिवली करेंगे. सारे कहां से करेंगे? और सारे करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. सारे करने की जरूरत बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. दैट वुड बी अ वेस्ट ऑफ आवर टाइम. अच्छा, कोई इनपुट है किसी का इस क्वेश्चन को लेकर?
सर, we can include sterile mill technique.
Who is this?
Manoj sir.
Yes, Manoj, our agriculture expert. Yes, Manoj.
Sir, we can include sterile mill technique to control mosquitoes like.
Okay,
hello?
We have used gene drive technology. So, what you are suggesting, is it anything different from that?
Yes, sir. In sterile mill technique, what we do is we'll cultivate some male mosquitoes which are sterile, and we'll let it go compete with wild varieties so that population of mosquitoes will decline.
Yeah. Fine. ठीक है.
So Prashun here.
Tag me in the group. ठीक है, I'll have to look it in detail. Yes, Prashun.
सर मैंने भी सर किया हुआ है 2021 का, मैंने बनाया हुआ था खुद से. तो उसमें मैंने लिखा हुआ था कि जो नट ग्रास है ना, ये ब्राइटन स्किन को ब्राइटन भी करता है सर, और कूलिंग नेचर भी होता है, और एंटी इन्फ्लेमेटरी भी होता है नट ग्रास जो रहता है.
ओके, एंटी इन्फ्लेमेटरी तो हमने लिख रखा है, पेन रिलीविंग लिख रखा है, कूलिंग नेचर भी होता है. एंड वन मोर थिंग यू सेड,
ब्राइटन स्किन, मतलब
स्किन ब्राइटन करता है.
हाँ, मतलब किसी प्रोडक्ट में यूज होता होगा, कॉस्मेटिक में. तो
अच्छा,
हाँ, तो ये भी लिखा हुआ है सर. मैंने भी किया था सर सर्च, इसलिए मैंने लिखा हुआ था तो मुझे याद आया.
ठीक है, ये मुझे टैग कर दोगे प्लीज ग्रुप में.
ठीक है सर.
ओके, ठीक है. किसी का अगर इनपुट नहीं है तो वी कैन मूव अहेड. Okay, so प्रशुन ने काफी अच्छा इनपुट दिया है, ठीक है. I'll go through it. Moving ahead, coming to you, Manoj. Read the next question, please.
Consider the following kinds of organisms: copepods, cyanobacteria, diatoms, foraminifera.
Okay.
Foraminifera.
Yeah, foraminifera. Before moving ahead, guys, let's look at this reference question. This is from 2014. Manoj, ये वाला पढ़ो.
Diatoms, crustacean herrings, crustacean diatoms herrings, all the same.
Yeah, so which of the following is the correct sequence of food chain? Right, so 4 options has been given, and correct sequence of food chain has been asked: diatoms, crustaceans, herrings. Fine, different combinations have been given. Now this was in 2014. In 2021, the question was on copepods, cyanobacteria, diatoms, foraminifera, and which are primary producers. So the context is clear. Here we use PYQ anchor level 2, where context of marine food chain is being highlighted. Yeah, here we have the context, so we are using PYQ anchor level 2. Here UPSC expects us to know basics of basics of marine food chain. Please read ahead. Manoj.
A typical marine food chain would look something like this: phytoplankton, including diatoms, plus zooplankton, including crustaceans such as copepods.
Phytoplankton including diatoms, then
zooplanktons, including crustaceans such as copepods, and then herrings include small fish that feed on zooplankton, then large fish such as salmon or tuna that feed on herring, then it includes top predators such as sharks or killer whales that feed on larger fish.
ठीक है, ये याद करना पड़ेगा. अगर पता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं तो इसको रट लो, because this is important. This is on the radar of the paper setter. Fine, this is important. Now moving ahead, level 2 anchor को use करते हुए we have tried to derive some pertinent information here. Yes, मनोज ने तो पढ़ा है. Let me come to अविनाश ने भी पढ़ा है. अनिकेत जिबड़े, please start from here. Cyanobacteria.
Cyanobacteria are also known as blue-green algae, are a type of photosynthetic bacteria that are found in a variety of environments, including freshwater, marines, and territorial habitats. They are some of the oldest and most primitive form of life on Earth, with a fossil record that dates back over 3.5 billion years. They are also able to fix atmospheric nitrogen, making them important contributor to global nitrogen cycle.
Okay. Before you move ahead, ये चीजें जनरली सबको पता होती हैं, ठीक है. साइनोबैक्टीरिया क्या है, ब्लू ग्रीन अलगी है. कुछ लोगों के लिए ये बात नहीं होगी. For some people this must be new that they fix atmospheric nitrogen. किसको पता नहीं था ये, this particular aspect? सबको पता था?
नो सर, नहीं पता.
नो सर, मुझे नहीं पता था.
Precisely for that reason we have incorporated it here. अगर इस तरह का क्वेश्चन आ जाए तो we would straightforward eliminate it, right? So we have incorporated it here. Yeah, go ahead please. Diatom से पढ़ो.
Diatoms. Copepods are small crustaceans that belongs to subclass copepods. They are one of the most abundant and diverse group of ceriterius in aquatic ecosystem, including freshwater, blackish, and marine environments. Copepods plays an important role in aquatic food webs, serving a primary food source for many fish and other aquatic animals. They also play a significant role in carbon cycle as they consume large amount of phytoplanktons and other organic matters and convert it into biomass, which can then be transferred up the food chain.
Okay, so far diatoms के बारे में एक दो important चीजें पढ़ी हैं अनिकेत ने. Copepods are, first of all, they are small crustaceans. Crustaceans क्या होता है अगर आपको नहीं पता तो आप गूगल कर लो, उतनी डिटेल में हम यहाँ पर नहीं जा सकते, ठीक है. माइक्रो मैनेज हम नहीं कर सकते. They are primary food source in the marine ecosystem, and they play an important role in carbon cycle, essentially because they convert organic matter. They are phytoplankton and other organic matter and convert it into biomass. Biomass banate hain. So they play an important role in carbon cycle. So this role is very similar to the plants that we see on land. The plants that we see on lands play a very similar role. Moving ahead. Foraminifera, Aniket.
Foraminifera or forams are group of singles called prostates that are characterized by the complex calcareous shells. They are found in marine environments throughout the world. Forms plays an important role in the marine ecosystems as they are important grazers of phytoplankton and are themselves a food source for many other marine organisms. They are also useful indicators of environmental conditions as the composition of their shells can reveal information about temperature, salinity, and nutrient level in the water. Because of their abundance and diversity, forms are important tools for studying a past and present marine environment.
Okay. So the few important things that Aniket read here. Foraminifera, they are single-celled protists and they are grazers. So they are not producers. Producers कौन है हमने अभी देखा diatoms के category में. Under diatoms, copepods. These small crustaceans are important primary producers, right? Speaking about foraminifera, they are grazers, right? Single-celled protists, and they are also important indicators. Indicator species क्या होते हैं, सारिका? Others, indicator species क्या होते हैं?
Indicate
the health of the environment or ecosystem.
उस इकोसिस्टम का हेल्थ को बताते हैं सर, मतलब कि वो
सर
कैसा
कुछ इंडिकेट करता है, जैसे लाइकेंस वो इंडिकेट करता है सल्फर
environmental
the health of the ecosystem. मोटा यही है. So in this case, these grazers foraminifera are important indicators because of the composition of their shells. If the temperature, salinity, and nutrient levels change, their shells start to dissolve, right? And that's again something what we call acidification of ocean, right? Fine. Again, zooplankton. Ranjit, can you read from here? Zooplankton.
Zooplankton is a tiny aquatic microorganisms found in water column, which includes crustaceans, rotifers, open water insect larvae, and aquatic mites. The Greek words zoon, which means animal, and plankton, which means wanderer, are combined to form word zooplankton. Zooplankton types.
रंजीत एक मिनट, यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा ये बचकाना लग सकता है कि हमने रूट वर्ड क्यों लिया, ग्रीक वर्ड है, ये है, उसका मतलब ये है. देयर इज अ रीजन. यहाँ पर एम्फोसिस इस चीज पर है कि इट्स अ वॉन्डरर, इट्स अ प्लैंकटन. फाइटोप्लैंकटन एंड जूप्लैंकटन में कॉमनैलिटी क्या है? दे कांट स्विम, right? They can't swim. They are not swimmers. So that's the emphasis being given here. ठीक है? They can't swim. They are not swimmers. They are wanderers. Water के flow के साथ move करते हैं. ठीक है? Read ahead, Ranjit.
Zooplankton types: the radiolarians, foraminiferans, dinoflagellates, cnidarians, crustaceans, chloridates, and molluscs are the most significant zooplankton species. Radiolarians, small protozoan species known as radiolarians, are distinguished by the creation of silica-based mineral skeletons. Foraminiferans, amoeboid organisms known as foraminiferans have an exterior shell and use ectoplasm to collect nourishment. Dinoflagellates are classified as mixotrophic species, which means they have the ability to both photosynthesize and consume other organisms. Although very tiny, this zooplankton is a major component of marine eukaryotes and plays a crucial role in the health of coral reefs. Cnidarians, marine species known as cnidarians, are distinguished by specialized cells called cnidocytes that are utilized to catch prey. They have mouths, tentacles, and that host the cnidocytes, and bodies made of a jelly-like substance called mesogelia. Example, jellyfish.
आगे रंजीत, अविनाश का चेहरा थोड़ा कंफ्यूज लग रहा था, एंड इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, वो थोड़ा सा डायनोफ्लैजिलेट्स को देखकर कंफ्यूज लग रहा था.
Crustaceans.
पहली बार सुना.
Yeah, crustaceans.
Crustaceans, the group of arthropods known as crustaceans, includes crabs, krill, shrimp, and barnacles. The zooplankton species krill and copepods in particular are significant. Chordates, animals with a notochord, dorsal nerve cords, endostyles, post-anal tails, and pharyngeal slits are known as chordates. There are numerous different species of sea stars, scalps, and other in this incredibly complex family. Mollusks, sea slugs, sea snails, and many types of squid are all included in the incredibly diverse group of animals known as mollusks.
Okay, fine. So Gauri seemed to be in a very joyous mood. Who's this?
Ria this side.
Ria.
Yes, sir.
Ria, I'll come to you. थोड़ा सा explanation इसका हो जाए, इस part का. I'll come to you.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So see, zooplankton. Highlighted portions are self-explanatory. Radiolarians के बारे में हमने देखा, foraminiferans, amoeboid हैं. Dinoflagellates, अविनाश या इसको देखकर वो सबसे ज्यादा कंफ्यूज मुझे दिख रहा था कि how they are mixotrophic, like they both photosynthesize as well as they consume other organisms. So this is something to be noted. Cnidarians में example हमने mention कर दिया, jellyfish, crustaceans, chordates में prominent example जो हमको generally पता होता है, sea stars, mollusks, snail. Fine, these all have been categorized under zooplankton types, and this is how we have moved ahead with the analysis of this particular question. This was the main question. Consider the following kinds of organisms: copepods, cyanobacteria, diatoms, foraminifera. The context was PYQ anchor level 2. Then we moved ahead with anchor level 1. Okay, Ria, your question now.
No, sir, I was not asking question. Actually, I was asking for making a correction there. When you were explaining about chordates, there was it is written dorsal hollow nerve cord, I guess, and it is dorsal nerve cords.
Okay.
Not N, it is D.
That's a typo. We will make that correction. Yes. Okay. Any other inputs? See, Ria ने बहुत अच्छा input दिया. She gave an input at least. बाकी सब लोग खामोश बैठे हैं.
सर प्रश्न है सर, ये एनसीईआरटी में सर 50% तो नाम दिए हुए हैं सर. बायो के एनसीईआरटी के लास्ट के जो 4 चैप्टर्स हैं उसमें सर दिए हुए हैं सर. ये जो पहले के जो फर्स्ट चैप्टर लास्ट चैप्टर का जो फर्स्ट यूनिट है उसमें दिया हुआ है सर बहुत सारे कोर्डेट्स, डायटम्स, कोपेकॉर्ड्स सारे दिए हुए हैं सर.
व्हाट इज योर पॉइंट?
पॉइंट ये है कि सर अगर मतलब ये ऐसा नहीं है सर, जैसे रंजीत भाई पढ़ रहा था तो समझ नहीं आ रहा सर, बहुत सारी चीजें समझ नहीं आ रही थी, पार हो रहा था दिमाग से. फिर अभी थोड़ा दिमाग लगा के देख रहा हूँ तो सर समझ में आ रहा है कि पढ़ा हुआ है सब, लगभग थोड़ा पढ़ा हुआ है. तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ सर कि हो जाएगा. मतलब मैं पहले थोड़ा वो कर रहा था कि इतना सारा कैसे याद होगा, मतलब इस टाइप का.
लेकिन थोड़ा एमजी ज्यादा है सही दवाई का, ये दवाई का.
ठीक है, मतलब ऐसा कुछ आउट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड नहीं है. दिस इज अगर इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखोगे, प्रशोन एंड एवरीवन एल्स, ये सब हमको पता है. Everything, every word that you see in this doc is present somewhere on the internet, right? But the point is we are compiling it in a succinct manner. सिर्फ compile नहीं कर रहे हैं, बहुत short में compile कर रहे हैं. जैसे
yes, sir.
श्री लक्ष्मी ने पहले पूछा कि सर पेसों के बारे में बस हमको इतना ही जानना है क्या, राइट? तो पेसों के बारे में हम और 4 पन्ने लिख सकते थे, लेकिन मोस्ट पर्टिनेंट और जो हम याद रख सकते हैं वही हमने लिखा. बट आई एम ओपन. मैंने आपको ये भी कहा कि आप मुझे इनपुट्स दो, आई विल ऐड दोस if they are important and they should be known to all. Fine. So that's the idea. Otherwise ये हर चीज अवेलेबल है out there, right? इसमें अगर नया कुछ है, इसमें एक ही चीज नहीं है, which are the 4 levels of anchoring used by UPSC जिस टाइप के एंकर्स यूज करता है क्वेश्चंस बनाने में, वही एक चीज नई है. ठीक है, कंटेंट इज नेवर न्यू, राइट? प्रशुन, others?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Who's this?
Shikha.
ये शिखा।
सर इसमें जो आपने हाईलाइट किए हैं सिर्फ वही याद रखने हैं, जो बाकी दूसरे एग्जांपल्स भी है वो भी याद रखने हैं जो आपने हाईलाइट नहीं किए?
जो हाईलाइट किया हुआ है दैट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट। टेक एनी पॉइंट फॉर एग्जांपल, लेकिन कई बार ऐसा होता है कि सिर्फ वो हाईलाइटेड सेक्शन देखकर तुमको पॉइंट रिकलेक्ट नहीं हो पाता। सो टू गिव यू अ कॉन्टेक्स्ट, ठीक है, द एंटायर सेंटेंस हैज बीन गिवन, तो आपको वो सेंटेंस पढ़ना पड़ेगा जब आपको कॉन्टेक्स्ट रिकलेक्ट नहीं हो रहा। लेकिन आप जब एक बार ये डॉक पढ़ लोगे, 2 बार पढ़ लोगे, फाइन, तो आपके दिमाग में इम्प्रिंट हो जाएंगे ये पॉइंट्स ऑलरेडी। उसके बाद आप सिर्फ हाईलाइटेड पॉइंट्स देखोगे, तो ये डॉक कितनी भी बड़ी हो आप जल्दी से उसको रिवाइज कर सकते हो। दैट्स व्हाई आई एम हाईलाइटिंग मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट स्टफ हियर, ठीक है, आपका रिवीजन जल्दी हो सके। क्लियर? ओके, अब किसकी बारी है? शिखा, तुमने नहीं पढ़ा राइट?
यस सर।
सवाल पूछकर फंस गई शिखा। या
Consider the following. First is carbon monoxide, second is methane, third is ozone, and fourth is sulfur dioxide. Which of the above are released into the atmosphere due to the burning of crop biomass residue?
okay, so this was a question from 2022 and what is interesting, we have clubbed a question from 2019। ये दोनों क्वेश्चंस को हम साथ में एनालाइज करेंगे और साथ में इनका एंकर्स देखेंगे। ये 2022 वाला तो पढ़ लिया शिखा ने, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, मीथेन, ओजोन, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड। शिखा 19 वाला भी पढ़ लो।
Consider the following statement. First is carbon monoxide, second is nitrogen oxide, third is ozone, fourth is sulfur dioxide. Excess of which of the above in the environment is are the cause of acid rain?
गाइस इन दोनों क्वेश्चंस में कुछ कॉमनैलिटी दिख रही है? दिस इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन
सर।
यस सर, ऑप्शन सर।
क्या कॉमनैलिटी है?
ऑप्शन सर,
ऑप्शंस में सर गैसेस,
ऑप्शंस में सिमिलैरिटी दिख रहा है।
ऑप्शंस काफी हद तक कॉमन है राइट? कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड दोनों में है, ओजोन दोनों में है, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड दोनों में है। डिफरेंस सिर्फ नाइट्रोजन ऑक्साइड की जगह पर यहाँ पर मीथेन है, दैट्स द ओनली डिफरेंस राइट?
यस सर, लेवल 1।
ओके, नो दिस इज नॉट लेवल 1, दिस इज नॉट लेवल 1, दिस इज लेवल 3। लेवल 1 में सिर्फ कीवर्ड्स हम देखते हैं। यहाँ पर दोनों क्वेश्चंस को कंपेयर करने के बाद, एनालाइज करने के बाद हमने क्या सीखा? These terms are on the radar of UPSC and these can be asked with an altered context। कॉन्टेक्स्ट अल्टर करने का क्या मतलब है? यहाँ पर लगभग वही ऑप्शंस थे, लेकिन कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या था? which of the above are released into atmosphere due to burning of proper biomass residue। burning of biomass residue was the context, ठीक है। यहाँ पर कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या था? एसिड रेन। कॉन्टेक्स्ट बदल गया, ऑप्शंस लगभग वही है, राइट? सो लेवल 3 एंकर कॉन्टेक्स्ट बदलकर इन पर फिर से सवाल आ सकता है। शिखा प्लीज कंटिन्यू रीडिंग फ्रॉम हियर, लेवल 3 एंकर से।
These terms are on the radar of UPSC, can be asked with a referred context. Possible context: methane, CH4 and nitrogen oxide, NOx2 can react to form formaldehyde, HCHO, and other volatile organic compound, VOC, which can contribute to the formation of smoke. Sulfur dioxide, SO2, and ozone, O3, can react to form sulfur trioxide, SO3, and oxygen, O2. Methane, CH4, and ozone, O3, can react to form formaldehyde, HCHO, and other aldehydes. Nitrogen oxide, NO2, and sulfur dioxide, SO2, can react with ammonia, NH3, to form ammonium nitrate, NH4, NO3, and ammonium sulfate, NH4, to SO4, both of which can contribute to the formation of fine particulate matter, PM2.5. Sulfur dioxide, SO2, and nitrogen oxide, NO2, can react with water vapor and other chemicals in the air to form sulfuric acid, H2SO4, and nitric acid, HNO3, respectively. Nitrogen oxide, NO2, and volatile organic compound, VOC, such as methane, can react in the presence of sunlight to form ground level ozone, O3, a harmful air pollutant that can cause respiratory problems and damage to crop.
ठीक है, थैंक्स शिखा। गाइस शुरुआत में जब हम बैक टू बैक पढ़ रहे हैं, जैसे प्रसून ने कहा, पिछले क्वेश्चन में जब बैक टू बैक रंजीत पढ़ रहा था तो प्रसून को लग रहा था कि भाई ये हम क्या पढ़ रहे हैं, ये कैसे समझेगा। बाद में कुछ सेकंड के बाद समझ में आया प्रसून के कि ये तो ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है और ये पढ़ रखा है. This is not something new. This is not something out of the box, right? So again, the same rule applies in this question as well. इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें ऑलरेडी हाईलाइट कर रखी हैं. ऑल्टर्ड कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर क्वेश्चन आ सकता है तो दीज आर द मोस्ट प्रोबेबल कॉन्टेक्स्ट जिसमें क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. ठीक है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट हमारे सामने है, उनको बस हम एक रीडिंग देंगे, उसके बाद जब रिवाइज करेंगे सो दैट मस्ट बी सफिशिएंट, इंटरनलाइज हो जाना चाहिए. फाइन. तो लेवल 3 एंकर के साथ हमने शुरुआत की. मूविंग अहेड, विश्वम, कमिंग टू यू.
सर
Who's this?
सर सारिका.
हाँ सारिका,
सर कैन यू प्लीज रिपीट दैट क्वेश्चंस?
क्वेश्चन देखना है फिर से.
हाँ
अच्छा, दिस वाज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
2020 का क्वेश्चन नहीं है आई थिंक.
2022.
हाँ 2022 का नहीं है
कर
ये.
दिया है जो 2019 का वो 22 का है.
हाँ
दो
Yes.
क्वेश्चन है. 2022 का पहला वाला जो स्क्रीन पर दिख रहा है, एंड
2019 का.
दूसरा
सर
वाला
ये
जो यहाँ पर
ये
जो आपने
ये
2019 लिखा है वो
ये
2022 का है.
अच्छा,
Sir,
आगे पीछे
2020
हो
का
गया है क्या? 19 का
हाँ
22 का 19 हो गया.
यस सर.
हाँ ईयर वर्ड स्वैप हो गया ईयर का.
ईयर का व्हाट्सएप हो गया है. अच्छा ठीक है, हैंगओवर अभी तक दिख रहा है डिस्ट्रॉय प्रिलिम्स वर्कशॉप का. ठीक है गाइस, ठीक है. ईयर अगर स्वैप हो भी गया होगा तो आइडिया रिमेन्स द सेम, राइट? द आइडिया रिमेन्स द सेम. फाइन. लेवल 3 एनालिसिस ही हम यहाँ पर यूज करेंगे.
Sir,
हम लोग यहाँ तक आए थे पॉइंट नंबर 6. ओके, हु इज दिस?
Sir, Jaya here.
या जया.
Sir, I just wanted to confirm, can we stick only to this notes or is line pe should we again go for research on these lines? Or can we only limit ourselves to this study of these notes only?
ओके, सी रिसर्च की जहां तक बात आती है, मैंने स्टार्टिंग में ही ये बताया है कि these notes have been curated by putting in a lot of efforts. लेकिन I am not, or our team is not claiming monopoly or PYQ analysis, ठीक है, और ज्ञान of some sort. If you think a relevant point has been missed, ठीक है, by us, you can give your input and we'll try to incorporate that if that needs to be incorporated. But I won't advise you to go for doing endless research by yourself.
Yes, sir.
Naturally, अगर आपको लग रहा है, जैसे प्रशुन ने एक पॉइंट बताया था, he knew that naturally. अगर आपको naturally लग रहा है कि some point is missing that needs to be incorporated, you are most welcome to suggest.
Okay, or else we can just stick with this notes. This also would suffice.
Otherwise, this should suffice. This
Okay.
is PYQ analysis activity itself that we are doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jaya, I think you have not attended the Destroy Prelims Workshop live.
Yes, sir. I have not attended. Yeah. I am looking into the recorded versions of them. I am learning from the recorded versions.
You're watching. Please watch
I
them on.
joined very late. I joined this batch very late.
Okay, please watch them on priority basis, Jaya.
Yes, sir. I am doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jaya, if you can switch your camera on, you can continue reading here from this point.
Yes. Crop residue and biomass burning, forest fires, is considered as a major source of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, volatile organic compounds, and nitrogen oxides. Burning of rice crop residue releases suspended particulate matter, SO2, NO2, and O3 in the atmosphere. Carbon monoxide is formed when carbon-based fuels such as wood, coal, oil, and gas are burned with insufficient oxygen. It is a toxic gas that can be harmful to humans and animals when inhaled in high concentrations. Carbon monoxide is dangerous because it binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells more readily than oxygen, which reduces the amount of oxygen that can be transported to the body tissues.
Okay. Fine. So this is a precursor before we move ahead with the other main pollutants that we are going to read. Carbon monoxide, as Jaya read, we all know this, how it has this relationship with insufficient oxygen, how it causes how it is caused by insufficient burning in presence of insufficient oxygen when wood, coal, oil, gas is burned when there is not sufficient oxygen, how it is formed, ये हम सबको पता है. उसके अलावा there is another relationship it has with oxygen, that it binds to hemoglobin and reduces the amount of oxygen that can be transported. So two relationships with oxygen, one is while it's being formed, other after it's formed. Ozone, yeah, you can read it from here.
सर प्रश्न है सर, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड जो जो बना रहा है सर कार्बोक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन, सर वो तो सिगरेट से भी होता है ना, मतलब कार्बोक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन जो आती है वो भी तो एवरीडे यूज में आएगा, तो सर उसे सिन गुड्स वगैरह को हम लेंगे कि नहीं, पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से?
नहीं, सिन गुड्स का कॉन्टेक्स्ट कहाँ से आ गया?
मैं सिन गुड्स का कॉन्टेक्स्ट यहाँ से आया सर कि कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड जो जैसे जो सिगरेट पीते हैं उनके लंग्स में जो ये जो सर जैसे जो नहीं होता है कि टू एंड फ्रो, हाँ वो होता है सर, मतलब ब्रीदिंग बहुत फास्ट हो जाती है, तो उससे भी कार्बोक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन से कुछ रिलेशन है उसका जो सिगरेट पीते हैं. तो सर मैं ये कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था, जो सिन गुड्स होते हैं वो एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं कि नहीं, मतलब क्योंकि वो भी डेली यूज के हैं.
Sin goods, okay, fine. The constituents of sin goods as such तो मैंने अभी तक देखा नहीं यूपीएससी को पूछते हुए. जैसे डेटॉल का कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पूछा है, ठीक है, टॉयलेटरीज का पूछा है, ट्राइक्लोसान एंड सो ऑन, अदर एवरीडे यूज. लेकिन हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स ऑफ सिन गुड्स कैन बी आज, जैसे आप बता रहे हो सिगरेट, नाउ कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड कैन बी अ कंपोनेंट, राइट, हीमोग्लोबिन पर जो उसका इंपैक्ट हो रहा है, सो दैट इज रिलेवेंट फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. लेकिन अगर आप पूछोगे डेली आइटम अगर है हमारे यूज का, सो दैट्स नॉट एन डेली यूज आइटम, दैट इज समथिंग दैट शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, ठीक है, एंड आई होप यू डोंट यूज इट ऑन अ डेली बेसिस.
यस सर, कुछ लोग के लिए रहता है सर डेली बेसिस पे.
ओके, प्रसून को देखकर वैसे भी लगता नहीं डेली करता होगा. आई थिंक प्रसून जिम का शौकीन है. ओके, फाइन, यस जया, प्लीज कंटिन्यू. Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry. Ozone is a molecule made up of 3 oxygen atoms with a chemical formula O3. Ozone is present in 2 layers of Earth's atmosphere, the stratosphere and the troposphere. In the stratosphere, ozone plays an important role in absorbing harmful UV radiations from the sun. In the troposphere, however, ozone is a harmful pollutant and can cause respiratory problems and other health issues. Ozone can also be created artificially for various purposes, such as air purification, water treatment, and industrial processes. Note, the Global Initiative for Ozone, GIO, is a program established by UNEP to promote international cooperation in the protection of ozone layer. The GIO was launched in 1991 following the adoption of Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer in 1987.
Okay, so basic information, basic understanding with respect to ओजोन, ठीक है, कहाँ पर ओजोन होता है. स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर का हमने एग्जांपल देखा, ट्रोपोस्फीयर में उसका रोल क्या होता है, स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर में उसका रोल क्या होता है ओजोन का, एंड एंथ्रोपोजेनिक सोर्स क्या होता है ओजोन का, हमने वो भी देखा. एंड वी आल्सो लर्न अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर इनिशिएटिव, ग्लोबल इनिशिएटिव फॉर ओजोन. दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, जस्ट नोट इट डाउन. ओके, कमिंग टू मीथेन. अजमल, तुमने बहुत देर से कुछ पढ़ा नहीं है. Start from here.
Initiative to cut methane emission, global methane pledge, as the Glasgow Climate Conference 20.
कहाँ से पढ़ रहे हो?
Oh, sorry. मैंने नीचे से ठीक है.
कर्सर देखो.
Methane is a colorless and odorless gas that occurs abundantly in nature and as a product of certain human activities. It is thought to be 80 times more efficient than carbon dioxide at trapping atmospheric heat in the 20 years following its release. United Nations has decided to set up a satellite-based monitoring system, MARS, Methane Alert and Response System, for tracking methane emissions and altering governments and corporations to respond. The MARS initiative is intended to strengthen the efforts to cut methane emissions. It was set up as a part of the UN Environment Programme, International Methane Emission Observatory Strategy to gather methane emission data.
Okay, पढ़ते रहो. Initiatives.
Okay. Initiative to cut methane emission, Global Methane Pledge, As the Glasgow Climate Conference 2021, nearly 100 countries had come together in a voluntary pledge, referred to as the Global Methane Pledge, to cut methane emission by at least 30% by 2030 from the 2020 levels. India is not a part of the Global Methane Pledge, is among the top 5 methane emitters globally. Most anthropogenic emissions can be traced back to agriculture, followed by energy sector. Global Methane Initiative. It is an international public-private partnership focused on reducing barriers to the recovery and use of methane as a clean energy source. Harit Dara, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, has developed an anti-methanogenic feed supplement, Harit Dara, which can cut down cattle methane emissions by 17 to 20% and can also result in higher milk production. India Greenhouse Gas Program. The India Greenhouse Gas Program, led by World Resource Institute, India, Confederation of Indian Industry, and the Energy and Resources Institute, is an industry-led voluntary framework to measure and manage greenhouse gas emission. Sulfur dioxide is formed when
so methane का यहाँ तक था. You started from here. How it is more efficient. ये हम सबको पता है. Trapping heat, greenhouse gas effect किस तरह से होता है because of methane. This also has been in news. This is important. Mars methane alert and response system, and it was not altering. It was alerting governments. Governments को alter नहीं करना है. Alerting governments and corporations, ठीक है, so that they can respond. And then next one that you read was UN, that it was part of UNEP's International Methane Emissions Observatory Strategy. Initiatives क्या लिए जा रहे हैं to cut methane emissions? Global Methane Pledge, right? Important points that you read, Ajmal, that it's voluntary. Now, what is important here? India is not a part. Okay? Just make a note of it. Global Methane Pledge. India is not a part, despite being one of the top 5 emitters of methane. Okay? And what we have already learned, the pledges are voluntary. Because still India is not a part. And the biggest anthropogenic source is agriculture, followed by energy. अगर इस तरह का ascending descending order आ भी जाता है, so you know how to deal with it. Agriculture, उसके बाद energy आएगा. Fine? Global Methane Initiative, Harit Dhara of ICAR. Now, because animal husbandry is an important source of methane emissions, right? So this step is in that context. And anti-methanogenic feed, Harit Dhara, right? Dhara means flow, basically. Here, Dhara implies milk, but it's green. So that's the connection. And Indian Greenhouse Gas Program, World Resources Institute, CII, TERI, TERI. Okay. Ajmal, sulfur se padho.
Yes, sir. Sulfur dioxide is formed when sulfur-containing fuels such as coal, oil, and gas are burned. Indian government has given directives for thermal power plants to comply with emission standard for installing fuel gas desulfurization units that cut emission of toxic sulfur dioxide. Acid rain is precipitation that has unusually high levels of hydrogen ions. Normal rain has a pH of about 5.6. When pH falls below this, it is called acid rain, caused by atmospheric pollution from acidic gases such as sulfur dioxide and oxide of nitrogen emitted from the burning of fossil fuels.
Okay, so this is level 2 anchoring that we are doing. Context क्या था question का? Acid rain caused by nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, right? That was the context. Okay. Effects of acid rain.
It washes away all nutrients which are required for the growth and survival of plants. Acid rain affects agriculture by the way it alters the composition of the soil. It causes respiratory issues in animals and humans. When acid rain falls down and flows into the rivers and ponds, it affects the aquatic ecosystem. It alters the chemical composition of the water. Acid rain also causes the corrosion of water pipes, which further result in leaching of heavy metals such as iron, lead, and copper into drinking water.
Okay. Last wala.
Yeah, it damages the buildings and monuments made up of stones and metals, the major sources of.
Okay. So यहाँ पर effects of acid rain, like इसमें से कई सारी चीजें हमको already पता है. It alters the composition of soil, pH level change कर देता है. So microflora, microfauna gets altered. Respiratory issues तो हमको पता ही है. Again chemical composition of water change हो जाता है. Again the flora and fauna gets affected. Now what is important to note, जैसे अजमल ने पढ़ा, lynching नहीं है अजमल, leaching है. Leaching of heavy metals.
Leaching. I read leaching, sir.
Leaching, okay. And which leads to leaching of heavy metals such as iron, lead, copper into drinking water. ठीक है. And stones, buildings and monuments, Taj Mahal का example हम सबको पता है. Nothing new over there. So very quickly, अविनाश, तुम थक तो नहीं गए हो? नींद आ रही क्या अविनाश?
नींद नहीं आ रही.
पिछली बार तुमने स्ट्रेटेजी सेशन में बताया था कि तुम्हारी नींद उड़ गई है. अब कुछ बेटर हुई है कि नहीं हुई है?
नहीं सर, स्कीपिंग स्टार्ट हो गया.
हो गया. घड़ी की जगह बदली तुमने?
अब घड़ी रख ही नहीं रहा हूँ.
रख ही नहीं रहे हो. वेरी गुड.
इधर 28 में देखिए.
ओवर स्ट्रेच मत करो खुद को अविनाश, ओवर स्ट्रेच मत करो. 12-13 घंटे अगर नहीं सस्टेनेबल हो रहा है तो उतना पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं. क्वालिटी बढ़ाओ, क्वांटिटी कम कर सकते हो. ठीक है अविनाश, यू कैन रीड फ्रॉम हियर.
The major sources of SO2 and NOx in the atmosphere are burning of the fossil fuel to generate electricity. 2/3 of SO2 and 1/4 of the nitrogen oxide in the atmosphere come from electric power generators, vehicles and heavy equipments. Wet deposition is what we most commonly think of as acidic rain. Dry deposition, acidic particles and gases can be also deposited from the atmosphere in the absence of moisture. As dry deposition, the acid particles and gases may deposit to the surface. Water bodies, vegetation, buildings quickly or may react during the atmospheric transportation of other larger particles that can be harmful to the human health. Acid rain leaches aluminium from the soil. The aluminium may be harmful to the plants and as well as animal. Acid rain also removes minerals and nutrients from the soil that trees needs to grow. The high elevation acidic fog and clouds might strip nutrients from the trees' foliages, leaving them with the brown and dead leaf and needles. The trees are then less able to absorb the sunlight, which make them weak and less able to withstand the freezing temperatures.
Okay. लास्ट वाला पॉइंट पढ़ लो.
कहाँ से सर? वेटलैंड्स. Wetland soils also contain sulfur-loving archaeas, which are single-celled organisms that use to sulfur for energy production. They compete with the methane-producing microbes. In the area where there is a significant amount of acid rain, scientists have shown that these sulfur archaean outcompete the methane-producing microbes, thereby decreasing the methane outputs in these area significantly. Measures भी पढ़ना क्या? Measures.
Now see, यहाँ पर again taking context from the question, दो क्वेश्चन हमने देखे, right? One was specific to acid rain, SO2 and NOx से acid rain जो हो रही है. So हमने सबसे पहले देखा burning of fossil fuels to generate electricity is the major source of both SO2 and nitrous oxide. दूसरे भी हमने रीजंस देखे. ड्राई डिपोजिशन के बारे में हमने सीखा, acidic particles and gases. Here also, here we learned something important, that how acid rain reduces fertility of the soil by leaching important minerals. In this case, it leaches aluminium. It removes minerals and nutrients from the soil. So soil fertility goes down by acid rain. Fine. And another thing that we can add here is some species are favored over other, like those species that grow well, those micro species of bacteria, fungi that grow well in acidic environments, because their population increases, and those which can't live in acidic or which favor neutral environment or which favor more of a basic environment, because they perish. That's an important point we can add. Acidic fog and clouds, again nutrient loss किस तरह से होता है हमने सीखा. And wetlands में there is sulfur loving archaea apart from the methane loving microbes, and how it disturbs the balance in wetlands, that we have learned. ठीक है. Lastly, Ajmal, measures.
Yes, sir. Measures. Central Pollution Control Board has set emission standards for various industries. National Air Quality Index provides real-time data on various air pollutants, including sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and particulate matter. It is based on a combination of manual monitoring and continuous automatic monitoring. Turbo Happy Seeder. It helps to reduce the negative impact of rice weight cropping system on the environment. The Turbo Happy Seeder is a machine that enables the direct seeding of wheat into untilled soil without the need for crop residue burning, developed by the Punjab Agricultural University. BS6 norms implemented from April 2020 in the entire country to reduce vehicular emission of harmful pollutants such as nitrogen oxide, particulate matter, and sulfur dioxide.
Okay. So see, the question was very specific. Level 2 anchor we are using. The context was very specific. Acid rain being caused by sulfur dioxide and NOx, okay, nitrogen oxide. So what are the measures in this particular regard? अगर हम इन मेजर्स को साथ में रखेंगे नेशनल एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स और हैप्पी सीडर, तो थोड़ा सा बेजोड़ लगता है, बट गिवन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट दीज फिट. हैप्पी सीडर, टर्बो हैप्पी सीडर का जैसे हमने कॉन्टेक्स्ट देखा, you don't have the need to burn the residue, so definitely the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide concentration goes down, as Ajmal has read. Similarly, steps taken by CPCB, NAQI, National Air Quality Index, इसमें हमने सीखा कि it is a combination of manual monitoring and continuous automatic monitoring. पंजाब एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी का हमने रेफरेंस देखा विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टर्बो हैप्पी सीडर. इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, लाइक पिछले 2-3 साल में which university, which organization has developed that particular thing, right? Okay. And lastly, BS6 norms, again known to all, nothing new per se over here. Taking it a step forward, Ajmal, level 3 पर हम जा रहे हैं. Question was specific to SO2, right? Nitrogen oxide. We are taking it to level 3 anchor. Level 3 anchor अगर UPSC use करेगा क्वेश्चन बनाने के लिए, it would go deeper into NAQI, that is National Air Quality Index, and National Ambient Air Quality Index. एक बार लिस्ट पढ़ लो.
So just I'm going from particulate matter 2.5 and particulate matter 10, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, ozone, lead, carbon monoxide, benzene. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Toluene, xylene, arsenic, cadmium, chromium, nickel, mercury, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, formaldehyde, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and dioxin furans.
Okay, so guys, see, in the next question that we'll be seeing, we'll be looking into more detail. यहाँ पर सिर्फ हमने मेंशन करने के लिए मेंशन नहीं किया है, मैक्स एंड NAQI दोनों के बारे में हम डिटेल में जाएंगे. अभी के लिए इतना समझ लो, इन द गिवन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन दैट वी सॉ, ठीक है. तो NAQI और NAQS में 7 things are common, starting from the first, particulate matter, PM10, PM2.5, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, lead, carbon monoxide, right? These are common. one important thing that you should note, यूपीएससी ने इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन पहले पूछा भी है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड दोनों में नहीं है, CO2 is not part of both, ठीक है. Then what we tend to neglect, उसको ऑलरेडी हाईलाइट कर रखा है, आर्सेनिक, कैडमियम, क्रोमियम, निकेल, मर्क्यूरी, ठीक है. दिस इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ नेशनल एम्बिएंट एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स. फाइन. डायोक्सिन, फ्यूरांस, जाइलिन, टोलिन, बेंजीन के बारे में हम डिटेल में आगे देखेंगे अगले क्वेश्चन में, ठीक है. सो इस क्वेश्चन में हमने क्या किया, वी स्टार्टेड विद दिस क्वेश्चन, these two questions like 2022 and 2019, जहां पर ऑप्शंस लगभग सिमिलर थे, the context were different. We started with level 3 PYQ anchor, which UPSC can probably use to frame questions. We saw which could be those possible anchors, those possible contexts. Then we move ahead. उसके बाद level 3 पर ही हम रहे. One by one, we started with methane initiatives to cut methane, international initiatives, domestic initiatives. We came to sulfur, acid rain, effects of acid rain, sources of SO2 and NOx, measures to control these pollutants. Then monitoring किस तरह से हो रही है. Two prominent measures हमने इस context में देखे, NAQI and NAAQS. यहाँ पर किसी का कुछ input है तो बताओ.
Sir, Jaya here.
Yes, Jaya.
सर नेशनल एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स में जो पोल्यूटेंट्स है वो टोटल 8 है ना सर?
Have you missed out something? I think PM10 और 2.5 को हमने साथ में लिख दिया है.
ओके, या फाइन सर, ठीक है, देन इट इज कंप्लीट.
यस सर दोनों एक में.
यहाँ पर हमने साथ में लिख दिया.
Sir, Riya this side.
क्या रिया?
Sir, can we add the diseases which are caused by such leaching of such pollutants or in the atmosphere? For example, you have mentioned here about, highlighted here about the arsenic, cadmium, so mercury. We know about diseases.
Black foot disease की बात कर रही हो? Black foot disease
yes,
की बात कर
but
रही हो?
there is one disease which is caused by nitrate pollution, and that is I guess blue baby
Minamata disease.
blue baby syndrome, met hemoglobin.
ठीक है.
So
We can add that. ठीक है. Tag me. See, the thing is ये जो diseases है, black foot disease, blue baby syndrome और बाकी जो दूसरी चीजें हैं, आर्सेनिक पोल्यूशन से होने वाली हो या कैडमियम से होने वाली हो या नाइट्रोजन की एक्सेस ऑफ नाइट्रोजन से होने वाली हो, जनरली वी नो दिस नेम, बट स्टिल वी कैन ऐड, राइट. टैग मी इन द ग्रुप, ठीक है. आई विल गो थ्रू द लिस्ट एंड इफ नीडेड आई विल इनकॉर्पोरेट इट. फाइन. सो दैट्स अ गुड इनपुट. रिया, अपार्ट फ्रॉम रिया किसी का कोई इनपुट है? सर
मीनामाटा डिजीज, मरकरी से.
मीनामाटा, ठीक है. टैग मी. सी, मेरा सबसे बेसिक सवाल ये है कि मिनीमाटा डिसीज के बारे में नहीं पता ऐसे कितने लोग हैं यहाँ पे? गौरी को नहीं पता मिनीमाटा. प्रसून को भी नहीं पता. अच्छा, ठीक है.
सर बस इतना ही पता है कि मरकरी से होता है.
और क्या पता करना है?
और सर एक उसका कुछ ये है ना, कन्वेंशन या कुछ तो है, गवर्नमेंट ने पढ़ते हैं अपन, प्रोटोकॉल कुछ तो है.
मिनीमाटा कन्वेंशन की तुम बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ, वो उतना ही पता है.
उतना डेप्थ में नहीं जाएंगे. सी नवनीत, वी कैन मेंशन दोस डिसीजेस, ठीक है. वहां पर हमको रुकना पड़ेगा. हर डिसीज का कन्वेंशन अगर हम लिखने जाएंगे तो दैट वुड बी ओवर स्ट्रेचिंग. इस पीवाईक्यू के अंडर में हम उतना स्ट्रेच नहीं कर सकते हमारे एनालिसिस को. प्रॉब्ली डिसीजेस को हम मेंशन कर सकते हैं. मुझे टैग कर दो ग्रुप में. फाइन. सो विल लुक टू इट. आगे बढ़े अभी के लिए एवरीवन.
सर प्रश्न है.
हाँ प्रश्न.
सर इसमें तो नहीं सर, लेकिन ये इंडोर एयर पॉल्यूटेंट्स को हम ऐड कर सकते हैं क्या?
एग्जांपल दे सकते हो?
सर एस्बेस्टोस है, बायोलॉजिकल पोलन वायरस है, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड है.
एस्बेस्टोस इंडोर कैसे हो गया?
है सर, मैंने इंटरनेट से कहीं से लिखा था सर, जैसे एस्बेस्टोस लिखा था सर. एस्बेस्टोस जो सर चढ़ाते हैं उसमें हो सकता है कि कुछ घर में रहता है सर, एस्बेस्टोस जो लगा रहता है उससे कुछ पोल्यूशन वगैरह का इंडोर लिखा हुआ था सर कहीं पे.
क्वारीज, फैक्ट्रीज, माइंस में एस्बेस्टोस जनरली हमको मिलेगा, राइट. एस्बेस्टोसिस बीमारी होती है उससे माइनर्स को जनरली, और घर में पोल्यूशन जो हमको जनरली जो देखने को मिलता है वो VOCs होता है, वोलेटाइल ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स,
paints,
और दूसरे कुछ कंपाउंड्स दैट आर फॉर्म्ड इन एवरीडे प्रोडक्ट्स, वॉल का जो हमारा पेंट है, फर्नीचर है, वार्निशेस ऑन पेंट्स, राइट, दोज आर इंडोर। लेकिन अगर तुमको लगता है कि कुछ इंडोर कंपोनेंट है जो हमने मिस कर दिया, मुझे टैग करो।
बट सर इसमें सर डिजीजेज का तो सर अभी PYQ में क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है, ये सब जो पॉल्यूटेंट्स का डिजीजेज का क्वेश्चन अभी तो नहीं
आ चुका है। अगर तुम पीछे जाओगे, हम 5 साल के पेपर्स पर रिलाई कर रहे हैं, तुम अगर 10, 15, 20 साल पीछे जाओगे तो तुमको मिनिमाटा कन्वेंशन मिलेगा, 10 चीजें मिल जाएंगी। ऐसा नहीं कि यूपीएससी ने पूछे नहीं ये सवाल, लेकिन
रिसेंट ट्रेंड,
5 years
रिसेंट में तो ट्रेंड है
सर इस बार भी आया था।
सॉरी
सर सारिका हियर।
हाँ सारिका,
इस बार भी आया था, एक्सेसिव ओजोन इन द एयर कैन ट्रिगर अस्थमा। ऑप्शन वो जो एक क्वेश्चन था ना एयर क्वालिटी गाइडलाइंस का, उसमें
नहीं वो तो हमने कवर किया है, लेकिन स्पेसिफिक डिसीज का अगर नाम डालना है, जैसे मिनीमाटा की यहाँ पर बात हुई, राइट, और ब्लैक फुट की बात हुई, ब्लू बेबी सिंड्रोम की बात हुई, वो हमने इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं किए हैं, वो हम कर सकते हैं। मुझे आप टैग करो, वी कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट, फाइन, मैं ग्रुप पर ही आपको अपडेट कर दूंगा। इसके अलावा कोई इनपुट है किसी का?
सर जया
वैसे सारिका हैड अ वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट कि जिस तरीके से स्टेटमेंट आया था क्वेश्चन में कि एक्सेस ऑफ ओजोन कॉजेस एस्थमा, अगेन दैट इज इन कीपिंग विद व्हाट वी हैव लर्नड और व्हाट वी हैव एनालाइज्ड सो फार। ओके, सम गर्ल वाज स्पीकिंग।
Sir, Jaya here.
Yes, Jaya.
Sir, are sources of these pollutants are also important? Should we study them?
Sources, can you give me an example?
Sir, like burning of fossil fuels and industry. There was an UPSC question that SO2 and NO2 pertaining to acid rain. These are released, both are released by which of the following sources?
See, sources की अगर बात करें, so ये next question जो है, यहाँ पर हमने sources की बात की, right? So you need not worry about sources. We'll be covering those. Right?
Okay.
See, these all questions belong to environment and ecology, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
एक क्वेश्चन में हर चीज कवर नहीं होगी, पार्ट्स एंड पार्सल में हम चीजें कवर करेंगे, ठीक है? You had one more input?
Yes, sir. Sir, with respect to this Minamata convention and other things, these are very traditional, which is already known to everyone. So rather than but whereas the other peer was saying that ozone triggers asthma, these are unconventional and untraditional things. So can we expect questions more from these unconventional things rather than the traditional?
Yeah, not really. See, ozone causing irritation of nose, problem in lungs or causing asthma. This is quite commonly known. Guys, सबको पता है ओजोन की वजह से ब्रीदिंग रिलेटेड इश्यू होता है, सबको पता है यहाँ पे?
Yes, sir, पता है।
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is not unconventional in that sense. Generally हमको पता होता है.
Okay.
Fine?
Okay.
Fine? Okay. So quickly moving ahead. Let's quickly come to someone who has not read. Archana. Archana is very vocal in the group, always very active. Okay. Yes, Archana. Read it, please.
Which of the following are the reasons or factors for exposure to benzene pollution? Automobile exhaust, tobacco smoke, wood burning, used varnished wooden furniture, using products made of polyurethane.
Okay. So this was a 2020 question. And the anchor that we are using here, possible future questions on other items in NACS list. NACS list हमने क्या देखा अभी? National Ambient Air Quality System Index. National Ambient Air Quality Index NACS में जितने भी एलिमेंट्स हैं उन पर पॉसिबल क्वेश्चंस पहले भी आए हैं. फॉर्मल्डिहाइड पर क्वेश्चन आया है, like this list has formaldehyde, this list has dioxin, it has furans. इन पर क्वेश्चन आए हैं, ठीक है? दूसरे भी एलिमेंट्स हैं उस पर भी क्वेश्चन आए हैं. बेंजीन पर क्वेश्चन आया है, which means an important anchor, level 3 anchor जो यूपीएससी यूज कर रही है, possible future questions on other items from NACS list can be asked. रेफरेंस क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. अर्चना, read it please.
Which of the following can be found as pollutants in the drinking water in some parts of India? arsenic, sorbitol, fluoride, formaldehyde, uranium.
Okay, and there are 4 options. ठीक है. Answers are not important here. What is important is the anchor being used. और ये क्वेश्चन भी हमने रिलेटिवली पुराना देख लिया है, ऐसे कई सारे क्वेश्चंस अवेलेबल हैं. So here, as the question said, which are the following are reasons, factors for exposure to benzene pollution. Guys, tell me, आप में से कितने लोग जिन्होंने पिछली बार एग्जाम दी थी या अब दे रहे हो, बेंजीन पोल्यूशन के बारे में स्पेसिफिकली पढ़ रहे हो? कितने लोग हो ऐसे?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Petrochemical industry, benzene pollution, petrochemical.
Plastic
ठीक है.
industry.
But is all
लेकिन
of
फाइन.
सर पढ़ने का तो सोचा था लेकिन फिर आपके प्रोग्राम के लिए रुक गए थे कि कहीं आपने कहीं शेयर कर दिया था।
सॉरी
मतलब पढ़ने का सोचा था लेकिन फिर इस प्रोग्राम के लिए रुका हुआ था कि अगर आपने शेयर किया तो ये हो जाएगा, वहीं से पढ़ लूंगा।
अच्छा, इस PYQ को पढ़ने का तुमने सोचा था?
यस सर।
नहीं, मैं PYQ की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. सी या अब ये क्वेश्चन बेंजीन पर आया है, से फॉर एग्जांपल स्पेसिफिकली फॉर्मल्डिहाइड पर आ जाए, स्पेसिफिकली फ्यूरान पर आ जाए, हम लोग उतना स्पेसिफिक पढ़कर तो नहीं जाते कि इसके पॉजिटिव फैक्टर्स क्या हैं, इसके इम्पैक्ट क्या हैं. पढ़ते हैं हम लोग?
नो
नहीं
सर।
सर।
नहीं, राइट. सो यहाँ पर इंपॉर्टेंट एंकर क्या है हमारे लिए? नेशनल एम्बिएंट एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स की जो लिस्ट है, ठीक है, उसको पकड़कर यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन बना रही है. दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट एंकर फॉर अस. इस बार बेंजीन पर आया है, राइट. इसके पहले हमने देखा आर्सेनिक पर भी आया है, डायोक्सिन पर भी आया है, फ्यूरेंस पर भी आया है, फॉर्मल्डिहाइड पर भी आया है. ठीक है. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द क्वेश्चन, लेवल 3 एंकर हमने देखा, मैक्स लिस्ट के बारे में हमने देखा. नाउ लेट्स क्विकली स्टार्ट विथ द इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट्स, their sources and what possible questions could emanate. We have tried to keep it brief. Fine. Overstage नहीं किया हमने. Navneet, sorry, Archana was reading. Yes, Archana.
Formaldehyde, sources of pollution. Building materials. Formaldehyde is commonly found in building materials such as pressed wood products, insulation materials, carpets, and furniture. Tobacco smoke. Tobacco smoke is a significant source of formaldehyde pollution in indoor environments.
प्रशुन देख रहे हो? तुम पूछ रहे थे ना सिन गुड्स के बारे में. इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आ सकता है. Yes, please read, Archana.
Industrial processes. Formaldehyde is used as a raw material in the production of various industrial products such as resins, plastics, and textile. Transportation. Formaldehyde is a byproduct of fossil fuel combustion in vehicles and power plants. Forest fires. Formaldehyde can also be released from other types of biomass burning such as agricultural burning and residential wood burning.
Fine. Jaya, see, you were speaking about sources, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can take it forward from here. Dioxins and furans.
Yes, sir.
You can keep your cameras on.
हाँ सर. सर यहाँ पे डिस्टर्बेंस ज्यादा है मेरे घर में, so I don't want others to get deviated. So.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
Yeah.
Continue.
Dioxins and furans, sources of pollution. Natural processes. Dioxins and furans can also be produced through natural processes such as volcanic eruptions and forest fires. Waste incineration. When waste is burned, dioxins and furans are produced as byproducts of incomplete combustion. Chemical manufacturing. Metal smelting. Dioxins and furans can be released during the smelting of metals such as steel, copper, and zinc. Forest fires. Dioxins and furans can be produced during forest fires, particularly when materials such as treated wood, plastics, and other synthetic materials are burned. Diesel exhaust. Dioxins and furans can be produced in the exhaust of diesel engines, particularly when the engine is not running efficiently.
Okay, so dioxin and furans हमने देखा formaldehyde, toluene. Now this is again part of NAAQS list, NAAQS. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Toluene. Sources of toluene pollution. It is a colorless liquid with a sweet, pungent odor. It is a volatile organic compound. Industrial process. Toluene is used as a solvent in many industrial processes, including paint manufacturing, printing, and chemical synthesis. Transportation. Consumer products. Toluene is also present in many consumer products, such as paints, adhesives, and cleaning agents. Tobacco smoke. Toluene is present in tobacco smoke, and smoking is a significant source of toluene pollution in indoor environments. Natural sources. Toluene is also released by natural sources such as vegetation, wildfires, and volcanic eruptions.
Xylene. Again, xylene is yet another component, but the points incorporated in it are largely similar to toluene. जैसे toluene में हमने क्या देखा, natural sources क्या होते हैं, tobacco smoke, consumer products, transportation, it's largely the same. इसलिए अलग से हमने xylene के लिए points नहीं लिखे, ठीक है?
Okay.
So coming back to the anchor, level 3 anchor, possible future questions on elements present in the NAAQS list. Okay, we saw the sources of formaldehyde, dioxins and furans, toluene, xylene. Moving ahead, level 3 se we are jumping to level 1. Question was specific to benzene, right? So let's get some basic information about benzene. Yes, Archana.
Benzene is a natural constituent of crude oil and is one of the elementary petrochemicals. Natural sources include volcanoes and forest fires. Industrial processes such as processing of petroleum products, production of xylene and other aromatic compounds, use in industrial and consumer products as chemical intermediate and components of petrol, gasoline, and heating oil. Automobile exhaust account for the largest source of benzene in the environment. It could be released from varnished wooden furniture or new carpets and using products made of polyurethane.
Okay.
Impact of benzene pollution on human and environment. Cancer. Benzene is a known carcinogen and exposure to high level of benzene has been linked to an increased risk of developing blood disorders. Benzene exposure can damage the bone marrow, which is responsible for producing blood cells. This can lead to anemia. Immune system effects. Benzene exposure can weaken the immune system, making individual more susceptible to infections and illness. Reproductive and developmental effects. Benzene exposure has been associated with reproductive and developmental problems, including reduced fertility and birth defects. Neurological effects. Benzene exposure can cause headaches, dizziness, confusion, and other neurological symptoms.
Okay, so the context is clear. अच्छा, कुछ points बाकी हैं, Archana.
Skin irritation. Benzene can cause skin irritation and can be absorbed through the skin, leading to systemic effects. Respiratory effects. Benzene exposure can cause respiratory problems such as coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath.
So see, these things are very common. जैसे पहले जया बोल रही थी कि asthma is caused by ozone. See, again with respect to benzene, as we are learning, breathing related problems, coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath होता है. So this is a very general thing. Fine. इसको अलग से हमको याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. In this context, जो highlighted sections हैं, उसी को हमको याद करना है. Rest everything else is for you to understand the context. यहाँ पर हमने बेंजीन के बारे में लेवल 1 एंकर यूज किया और बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन जानने की कोशिश की. सोर्सेस क्या है एंड इंपैक्ट्स क्या है ऑफ बेंजीन पोल्यूशन. सो going back to the question, we started with this question asked in 2020. Reasons for exposure of benzene pollution, and we used level 3 anchor. We went back to NAAQS National Ambient Air Quality List, Index List, and we saw what possible questions could emanate. We probed formaldehyde, dioxins and furans, toluene, xylene. Then we used PYQ anchor level 1. बेंजीन के बारे में बेसिक ज्ञान हमने जानने की कोशिश की, एंड दैट वाज इट गाइस. यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम टू गिव इनपुट्स. यहाँ पर अगर आप कुछ इनपुट्स देना चाहते हो. किसी का तो कोई इनपुट होगा.
सर यहाँ पे इनपुट समाप्त हो जाता है.
Sir, in case of dioxin and furans, it is also emitted through landfills as well as when burning of plastic takes place. Dioxin especially emits. This is my input.
Burning waste incineration we have included here. Jaya, it is Jaya, right?
No, it's not.
Right? Waste incineration we have included. इसके अलावा no inputs. Guys, I want you to
we
give
were
input.
talking about
Who's this? Who's this?
Riya.
Yes, Riya.
So we were talking about indoor pollution also. So can we like in the mosquito wala question we use natural repellents? Can we use plants also with indoor plants very much in it is not in news but it is in use.
Now that's a very good expression. It's not in news but it's in use. किसकी बात कर रही हो? What are you referring to?
I'm referring to indoor plants which are used for tackling the indoor pollution and all.
नहीं, do you have a specific example? इस प्लांट का काफी अच्छा इम्पैक्ट होता है, यूटिलिटी काफी अच्छी है.
Sir, I've read about it. It's snake plant, spider plant, the jade plant.
ठीक है, fine. Thanks for the input. लेकिन I think UPSC point of view से, exam point of view से less likely है इस context में सवाल पूछा जाना. Okay, Archana, you're saying something.
Yes, sir. The Stockholm pollutants, the 12 pollutants which have been listed, dioxin and furans is one of the variety. Like industrial we have, and then insecticide, herbicide, and other is.
Achha, with respect to that particular convention.
Yes. Dioxin and furans are mentioned there. The third category.
Okay, so this is a valid input. This is a valid input.
Out
Just
of the
tag me in the
12
group.
POP, this is important.
Yeah. Tag me in the group. I'll go through it. Okay, Prashun was saying something.
हाँ जी सर वो जो अभी जो अस्थमा और उसकी बात हो रही थी सर, शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ की, तो उसमें सर एक जो कांग्रेस ग्रास था ना, जो हमने पढ़ा था पहले, कांग्रेस ग्रास, हाँ वो कांग्रेस ग्रास भी सर इंड्यूस करता है अस्थमा.
शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ.
हाँ नहीं सर, अस्थमा इंड्यूस करता है. हाँ जी.
फाइन. तो वहां पर हमने पार्थेनिन के बारे में पढ़ा तो था, इरिटेंट के तौर पर, राइट?
It is already included in the notes.
Okay. मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया होगा. ओके ठीक है.
For respiratory issues create करते it is already included.
Shortness of breath is such an all-rounder thing. हम थोड़ा घबरा भी जाए तो shortness of breath होने लगता है, right? So that can fit almost anywhere. Okay, so किसी का इनपुट अगर यहाँ पर नहीं है कोई, हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. अर्चना ने और एक दो लोगों ने काफी अच्छे इनपुट दिए हैं यहाँ पर. Just tag me in the group. I'll go through them. Fine. Input दो. It's my responsibility to research and go through those. आप इनपुट नहीं दोगे तो हम आगे ही बढ़ते रहेंगे. ठीक है?